Hi, this is Vernon Shelton, and this is Urban Grandstand, and I'm with
Josh HIllman from Savage MMA Fitness in the U.S. Team Training Center.
So how do you feel, man? Having your own gym, man?
It's exciting. It's got a lot of benefits to be able to run and operate in a manner of wanting the best for not just the athletes, but the instructors and the people in it, and making sure that, we stay around the goal of having good people dedicated, not just doing it for memberships or other things, but for the people that actually want to accomplish something. So it feels good, very rewarding.
So what's different at your gym than other gyms? And if you could notice that, if you ever just checked out another gym, then you would see your gym like, yeah, it's different.
Well, one of the main things I would say is my gym is not what I would call my primary business. My gym is here for the ability to help people with whatever needs they may have. So, some gyms you go to, they have programs, you sign up, you sign a contract, you got a membership, and if something comes up, they're not willing to work with you. If you lose your job, they're still going at you for the money. One of the big things about our facility is, we work with people the best we can. We understand that sometimes, we get youth athletes, at-risk youth that come in here with addictions or different anger management problems and things. And you got a single mom that works one job trying to provide for the whole family. You can't expect them to be able to afford some of these things these other gyms charge. We have guys that come in here, men and women that serve our country that have been injured from explosive devices and other things, and they get cut out of the hospital from the insurance, and yeah, sure, it's kind of rehabbed in their opinion, but I mean they can't get any form of physical activity back because they're not at that point. We have athletes that come in, and if you were to charge for the insurance and physical therapy, it would be in the thousands upon thousands. So we sit here and we look at a youth that, again, maybe come from an at-risk home or somewhere in the area that just can't afford that, and we say, well, what can we work out? Because you were one of the #1 varsity players, you were qualified for possibly a full ride scholarship, what can we do to help you out? So I would say our facility works with just about anybody and everybody as long as they have the right attitude and the right methodology. And that's something that you don't see in many places. Many places, is how much money can I get out of the program? How many belt testings can I get in a month? How many people can I stick in my own organization or circle and win? Us here, we want to be the best at whatever we do. So if someone, needs to tighten up their hands, and we say for mixed martial arts, we say, okay, let's go do boxing. Somebody needs to up their kickboxing, their BJJ, any of their skills or martial arts sets that we do here. We try and find not just friends, training partners, and coaches, but we also collaborate with other gyms and other organizations. So we may call up other facilities and say, hey, do you have somebody we can work with? We're not afraid to, align and be able to train and cross-train with other places to make ourselves better. We have this belief here that we always move forward, one way or another. We never go backwards. And that is a firm belief that we stick to, because whenever you're training, whenever you have a gym, you have coaches, you have instructors, you want people that are qualified. And you've interviewed previous people, like one of the instructors and consultants here, Brian Walsh. That is the type of person, as well as several other instructors here, that they don't have to be here. They could easily be anywhere in the world they want to, but they're here because they believe in what we do and they see the potential, and they see that they want to build stables and build a gym that not only has a reputation of winning, but has a reputation of good people winning. And that is something that we have a little bit different here. So
I like it too, because it reminds me of like a family community thing. It's building a family to let everybody get together as an alliance for the USA,
Most definitely. Yeah, we try and keep a family type environment, good energy, because we have people that come in here for basic stuff like personal training, group exercise classes, and all these other things, but we also want to make them feel at home. When you come into a place, it may not be the most fanciest, the best, but we still want to educate them. We want to teach them. We want to make them feel like they're a part of something, as they should. Anytime you're spending time with another person, there should be some sort of a friendship there, if that makes sense. There should be some sort of respect for one another. So yeah, I mean, we do definitely try and keep that type of family-friendly environment here, while at the same time taking it from that family-friendly level all the way up to the amateur, professional, and Olympic. So
that's cool. Is there anything else you're going to add to this gym? Like, are you adding any new things to it too?
Without speaking too far into detail, as I probably shouldn't, we are looking to make this center and this business into one of the first Olympic training centers that's ever been developed for the country. So there's never been in the U.S. a martial arts training center for the Olympic teams. There are a couple that'll train in Colorado Springs, and that's about it. There are affiliations of the Olympic organizations and governing bodies, but there's never been an official training center. This is something that we feel very prideful about, because when we go and we compete internationally, we find that quite often the U.S. has not done very big things in about the past 25 to 30 years. Typically, in most of our combative sports, most Americans have not been on the podium in about 25 to 30 years. And that's not just one or two, that's multiple. So it's one of the things that we would really like to change this and give a designated spot. Another thing is with our facility, by doing this, I would like to create the opportunities for our combative athletes and martial artists to be able to have the same opportunities as the ones at Colorado Springs. Too often the excuses I hear are we don't have the qualified coaches, we don't have the qualified training centers, and we don't have the job and educational opportunities. So I would like to create those opportunities for our U.S. athletes that are in these sports to be able to be under the same roof, cross-train together, have the same job and educational opportunities working with local educational services and job placement services to be able to promote our athletes to the same level so we can compete with these other countries that do get paid to do it for a living. That is on the martial arts end. The other that really hits home for me would be being able to provide better and more efficient programs for our youth and our adults that have addictions, heroin, alcohol, narcotics, many different things, the anger management, and especially one of my most precious to my heart, PTSD for vets. I have many vets that I work with on a day-to-day basis, as well as many others in here that work with them. And we just try and find niches for each one of these groups, each one of these parts of these communities that don't seem to have a home, if you will, like you were saying before. We want to provide that opportunity so that they have a place in programs that are specifically designed for them. You asked earlier, how can we be different? Well, I can tell you this. If you ask typically most addicted teens or youth, 20-something-year-old that has an addiction or multiple felonies, doesn't have much money to walk into some of these training centers, they're going to be rejected. They won't be treated the same. No one's going to take a little extra time with them to help them see or mentor them or guide them.
That's true.
This is something we really try and harpen here and emphasize when we work with these children and these teens and these families in here. We want to guide them the best we can. So with this center coming up, we would like to put it to use not just for local community, but county, state, and federal level, and ultimately the international level to produce athletes for our country, because the medals, they come and go, the wins, they come and go, the age comes and goes, but having a flag on your back at the end of the day, standing on a podium knowing that you just did that for your country, I can't think of anything more proud of that.
Man, it's really deep, man. It's very different, man. I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
So how would you be able to, like, so for instance, somebody doing a CrossFitting game and they come in here, they could do that here.
Yes.
To get repaired for it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Even the wheelchairs?
Wheelchair
the
games.
Olympic games?
We are actually currently, and like I said, I don't want to overstep my boundaries here. We are currently collaborating with several of the governing bodies of the U.S. to not only collaborate on the regular World Games and Olympic Games training, but also for the Paralympic and Special Olympic. It is very important to me that individuals such as that, whether it be CrossFit Games or Paralympic Games, excuse me, that they still find the ability to train in here. There should not be, I have a standard in here when it comes to our instructors, our trainers, anyone. They have to be qualified in the way that if someone walks in and they have a need, a specialty, say it's a pro NFL athlete, say it's CrossFit Games, say it's someone that's getting rehab, they should all be able to work with the same person back to back and never have to switch. Our people should be qualified enough and educated enough to be able to provide those services on that level without having to send them all over the place or all over the county or all over the state or all over the country. It shouldn't matter. We should be able to provide that under one facility. If you can produce regular, everyday, professional Olympic athletes, there's no reason you can't do the same with someone that has a disability. And I will never disagree with that. So that is something, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is something that we really would like to provide. It's quite frustrating sometimes. You mentioned the wheelchair. I see a lot of people through a lot of the programs and gyms and things we offer. They typically open up one or two programs. They take some funding for it. They do it. But then you ask, well, why don't you open up more? Well, what programs are there? Look into it.
Yeah.
There are things out there to help the men and women that are born with different types of disabilities, whether it be physical or behavioral health, different things. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't make a difference. We should be able to cover that, and that is one of our goals as well.
That's cool. That's real cool. Yeah. So like, what else would you do to change anything else about something else if you could bring? Like, I like how the way you saying you bring the kids that do drugs and stuff like that. You know, that is so good because they do treat them different when they try to go into a gym. You know, they treat them very different. You know,
Most definitely. If I could say some of the different things I would do, I would make it to where people would understand that price, race, ethnicity, gender there's no barrier. There would be no difference. There is no difference between, if you're playing on a baseball, soccer team, or if you're fighting with your teammates in martial arts. You're still a team. It makes no difference. If you're a family in here, and you have a son in this, a daughter in that, and you're doing your own thing, it shouldn't make a difference what programs are going on. Everyone should be accepted. It doesn't matter what wealth you come from, or poverty. It shouldn't make a difference. You're still a person. So it is very unfortunate when you go to these other places and, like you said, whether it be because of drug use, previous records, skin color, different things, gender mistreatment, it shouldn't make a difference. That should never be a factor into who you are and what you're trying to do with yourself. It's only our job to help you get there. It's not my job to judge. It's not anyone here. We don't do that. We care about you as a person. And that is something that I would say I would like to make clear and different compared to most other facilities. Because too often I see that certain people get discriminated against. They told they're not okay. One of the big ones we were just talking about with one of our governing bodies was females and martial arts and combatives. Too often you go to a facility and women are treated different than men. And that's unacceptable because in my opinion, women get attacked far more than men. So they should know how to defend themselves just as well.
That's true.
So again, making that difference and making sure that no one is left out, no one's left behind, if you will, or discriminated against. It shouldn't matter. You're still a person in here. So I would like to make that very clear as we pursue with everything we're doing.
That's cool. So do you even plan on, or you already have kids classes?
Yes, we do. We have kids classes on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
Okay.
and they are upcoming. We'll expand as we do them more. We just recently expanded from a very small facility to a much larger one. And as we continue to grow, we're going to improve. The big thing to make sure is, again, that we care about equality here. So when the kids come in, we make sure we give them attention. We make sure we teach them right. It's the same thing as, if someone that has children, they want them in a smaller class size so they get more attention from the teacher, more education, more
And
proper
discipline.
and discipline, right?
Yeah.
If you have, 50 to 100 kids in class, that's a gym class. That's not anything educational. That's something you're just kind of having them do things to keep busy. We want to teach, so we will make adjustments as necessary for any and all programs to accommodate anyone we can. If we need to expand and open up more, if we need to get a bigger facility, if we have to move, whatever we have to do to make these things happen, we'll do.
That's cool, man. Well, this is Bernard Shelton, and this is Urban Grandstand, and I'm with my man.
Josh HIllman.
Pleasure, man.
Thank you very much.